He's going to be looking at. Well, Durahan, that's the question. I don't know. I do not know. Let's find out. Legal Mindset has got a fast facts for us. So let's find out what he did this time.
The Somali bombshell has dropped. Today, we have information on a new investigation that may just sink Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Once again, a fast facts video. If you like this format, if you're enjoying this shorter, compact videos, please leave a like and leave a comment below. It helps me out when I'm thinking about what type of content to create. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Of course, I have a PowerPoint. So what we have today is the bombshell that we've been waiting for. And once again, I do, partly apologize because
RPX, he's not going to be going into jail until all of his cases are done, because the general consensus right now is he is not being remanded into custody, and he is on his own recognizance for a couple reasons. Number one, they have barred him from leaving the country. So even though he has a passport, he received a temporary passport, he's still barred from leaving the country. So if he attempts to leave the country, he will be arrested, and that will be another charge. Number two, he's not spending time in jail, because if he spends time in jail, that means that the Korean taxpayers would have to house and feed him for however long all of his court takes. And his court is taking a while. So this way, the Korean people are not paying for his living and his food while he is waiting his sentencing. He has to figure that out on his own, which is even funnier because he cannot work. He is not allowed to work in Korea because he was on a student visa. How he managed that, I don't know. But he was on a student visa, which means he cannot work, which means he cannot stream. Not that any of his streaming platforms are paying him anything. He has been reliant 100% on Hank to pay for everything. And the last thing I heard is Hank is fucking done with him. So this is all just a glorious shit show with Johnny. But now apparently we've got something all new coming down the pipe.
I thought this might come down the pike earlier,
Sphinx,
but I wanted to make sure everything was 100% confirmed. We had translations, we had confirmations, we had all the information we needed to give you accurate, objective information, which is always what I try to do on this channel, while having a little bit of fun at the same time. So let's get into it.
Not going to happen, Tornado. They won't let him.
Many of you know the current charges that are standing against him. Obviously, we have 3 counts of obstruction, 2 of which he's pled guilty to.
We know about this, so I'm not going to move.
He's pled guilty to both of those. And the deepfakes, which he is fighting and pled not guilty as well. However, we know that there are many more things that Ramzi Khalid Ismail has done. In his criminal saga across South Korea, there were dozens, if not even potentially, tens of dozens of potential crimes that he committed out across his spree, which lasted several months and has continued even past his being initially charged with obstruction back in December. So even since December, he has gone out and committed other potential crimes. But the question...
Yeah, that's the thing. A big part of this is what we're seeing with these charges right here is literally a fraction of the things he's done illegally since entering into Korea. Literally every day he has spent in Korea, he has probably violated at least 3 to 5 laws per day. That is something you could probably take to the bank, is that he has violated the law at least 3 to 5 times every single day, because that's just how he is. So what he actually gets charged with is a fraction of the total illegal acts that he has committed since arriving in the country.
Has been what will come down the pike, what will actually end up on the docket, what will be investigated, what will be taken seriously. And that's always been a question that we tried to answer accurately on the Legal Mindset. And one thing we've noted is his pattern. And this is something that's very important to know. Somali Ramzi Khalid Ismail has a pattern. He is a very small man. And I say that because it is relevant. It's not just me going ad
Uh-huh.
hominem, but it's relevant because he fears grown men. He is very, very fearful of grown adult males. However, he
As evidence when that special forces Korean soldier came up and Spartan kicked his ass across the sidewalk. Or when a passer, like some rando on the street was passing him by and he was live streaming, and some passerby literally just fucking cold cocked him out of fucking nowhere. He was just streaming, and then out of nowhere, you just see this fist go boom and just cross-decked him right across the face while he was streaming. And he didn't do a fucking thing about it. He was just like, hey, what are you doing? Stop! What are you doing? Like, the moment anybody actually confronts him, he's like jackass dumbass. Okay? He's like Jack Doherty. The moment he gets confronted, he will instantly back down. The thing is, Jack has his little bodyguard that he will hide behind like a little girl every time someone confronts him because he's a piece of shit. Johnny has Hank. Hank's not a bodyguard. Because after Johnny got Spartan kicked across the universe and Hank tried to defend him, I'm pretty sure Hank was the next recipient of said Spartan kick. So first the trooper like blasted Johnny across the road, and when Hank went to defend him, the trooper turned on Hank, and I could be misremembering. I thought Hank did try to jump in, and then the South Korean Special Forces trooper actually like cold cocked Hank and just blasted into him too. I thought. I could be wrong. It could have only been Johnny that went after, but I thought that Hank caught some hands on that one too. Last I knew. But yeah, he will always Johnny always backs down from a fight because he is small, he is weak, and he's basically been reliant upon some kind of, I don't know, a citizenship invulnerability he thought he had to do whatever he wanted. The moment he gets confronted, he caves because he's a little bitch. Okay, Johnny is nothing but a little bitch. He has always been a little bitch. The moment he gets confronted, he instantly turns into a little girl and will just do nothing. Which is why it's going to be hilarious when he goes to prison.
He intentionally targets women and children because they are smaller than him, usually physically, although many women are bigger than him. But children are generally smaller and they're perceived as weaker. So he likes to target them. He takes much pleasure in targeting women and children. Now, some of this behavior is simply disgusting and inappropriate. However, much of this behavior has crossed the line into criminal. So in order to look at that, we have to look at his dark history. And this is evidence if you want to look at my live stream. So my live stream on the Bombshell, you will have all of the videos for all of these. We're going to go through.
Well, Sketty, I do not know how tall Johnny is. I am probably at the very least as tall as Johnny. At the very least. And I have no doubt I could kick Johnny's ass. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. I could kick Johnny's ass. Absolutely.
Them one by one. And if you watch that, I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey, minstrel.
But this history is.
Do you know what a booty goon is?
I'm not sure I want to know what a booty goon is. Please don't scar me for life. Please don't scar me for life. Okay, I don't think I want to know. In Speedwagon? Hell yes, I could. Hell yes, my model could. Okay, so he's 5'4". So Johnny Somali probably has one or two. If we go at the upper limit of the 5'4", Johnny has maybe an inch or two of height on me. Maybe. And I'd still kick his ass. Easily. Easily kick his ass. The guy's a toothpick.
is quite long, and it has been documented in video, starting even from the US, where he assaulted someone in a hotel room in Orlando. Then you had Tokyo Disneyland, where he created a scenario around children. He was creating a scene around children, playing offensive text to speech around children. Then on the
Oh
streets of
God.
Korea, he harasses young people, including people that say they are 16. And his response to that is, I do not care about your age. Age is just a number. I don't care. Right. So,
So he's being a sexual predator. Flat out. Colt, we got Colt like it is. Johnny is a sexual predator. He is a pedophile. If he's approaching girls on the street who are underage, they said that they're 16, which pretty sure 16 is not the legal age of consent in Korea, although correct me if I'm mistaken about that. He is a pedophile. There's no bones about it. And if there's one thing that is universal with the prison population, they don't like pedophiles. They have a special place in prison that that the fellow prisoners will take a pedophile.
that happened on the streets of Korea. Also, we have Moxie as well as Xena, who he
I
harassed
hit
in Korea,
Hades.
followed by that. Then he went to Lotte World and played explicit sexual messages around children multiple times. In fact, he expressed enthusiasm that he was going to be around children.
Chomo? I have never heard the expression of a chomo. And Mitchell, I would disagree. I would make him a groomer. If he's hitting on an underage, if he's like hitting on underage girls, that's not grooming. That's him being a pedophile. If he's hitting on 16-year-old girls with the explicit desire, for the explicit reason to try to get them to have sex with him, that is a pedophile. Because again, to the best of my knowledge, the legal age of consent in Korea is not 16. Oh, okay. It's a term that you hear in prisons. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a prison term slang. Okay, I had not heard that slang before. That's why it didn't click for me. So chomo is a prison term slang. Okay, I learned something new today. So short for child molester. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I was unaware of the slang. I learned something new today.
Children, and finally online. And this is something that happened literally in the last couple months, where as he's being hauled off to court, as he's having to go in front of the judge, he's getting online and talking with minors, soliciting minors online while in the Republic of South Korea, while standing trial. So all of this history needs to be taken together to paint a picture, and all of this evidence needs to be submitted together to paint a full picture. Now, the Korean authorities in the past did not have all of the evidence. They only had some of the evidence of his dark history, of his dark past. But we now have confirmed
it does
the
not,
official
Leo.
investigation has reopened because Korea has received all of the evidence. The Somali conviction team has confirmed this information, and we have receipts from the actual submission of the new complaint against him, as well as the new investigation. So let's jump into this, and we'll explain exactly how bad this is for Ramsey. So obviously, we've talked about the criminal process, and just to be very clear,
I like this. Korean criminal process for crossed out dummies. Special people.
This is at stage 2 of the process, and we have confirmed it's at stage 2 of the process. So there's a criminal complaint that was submitted by someone in Korea, and there is now a police investigation that has started. So the police have begun to investigate this, begun to do interviews, begun to collect information. So they've started their process. So we are on step 2. Step 4 is trial. So we're not there yet. And typically this for police investigation takes 4 months. However, in this case, we have a feeling that things might be expedited in the case of.
And things can be expedited Because unlike the average police investigation, Johnny was kind enough to provide the police with all the evidence they will ever need. This is why Johnny is the perfect offender. He provides all of his own
Well,
evidence.
chat, it's time. The big salami binder is here. Nick would be proud. Oh wait, NVM, this isn't some nigger binder is needed for.
No, and that's exactly it, David. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Johnny is basically a prosecutor's wet fucking dream as a defendant. Because Johnny has literally provided all of the evidence to the police and to the prosecution all on his own. Because he has literally live streamed every criminal act he has committed. Yes, Street Tech, because he's already pled guilty to what I think he said 3 charges. So because he's pled guilty to 3 charges, the Korean courts are going to use that to basically stack the concurrent charge, the following charges, and raise the punishment levels. So they'll basically they do a established behavior. They show that he is a recidivist criminal, that he will continue to commit crimes, and thus they can elevate the crimes in their the criminal level. He's considered a repeat offender, correct RIGAT, and his criminality level can be increased, as well as the sentence can be maxed out. And any further charges that can be brought against him are even easier to get convictions for. This is, of course, bearing in mind that the South Korean criminal justice system, the prosecuting attorneys, have something like a 99% conviction rate in the courts. South Korean prosecutors do not bring a case in front of a judge unless they can guarantee a win. That's the only reason why they will bring a case in front of a judge, is they know they will win, and they don't plea bargain. They don't do plea bargaining. And this whole thing about a typical police investigation lasts for 4 months is he's provided them all the evidence. He's live streamed and thus facilitated recording of literally every offense he has committed. The investigation doesn't need to take 4 months. They don't need to do extensive witness interviews and following evidence. He's literally handed them all the evidence they will ever need and more on a silver platter.
Ramsey Khalid Ismail, as they have been for many of the charges. Typically, the police investigation takes about 4 months, and prosecutor
really,
takes about
Moss?
2.
Oh,
sometimes it can take shorter or longer, but that's the average. And then it comes to trial. Then, of course, you have post-sentencing. So let's get into it. Here is the Carfax. Here's the receipts, of course, because Legal Mindset, unlike Ramsey, I have receipts of everything. So here is the submission right here. This is a Gobachang. Right here, the report that's submitted against Ramsey Khalid Ismail. You see his name here, Ramaji Khalid Ismail, right, in Korean. And you've got the relevant information right over here. Now, we have blurred out information to keep some individuals private, but, it was an individual who submitted this. You can see over here, once again, another one of the cover sheets showing it's against Ramsey Khalid Ismail, and showing his date of birth, as well as the location in Seoul, and giving some other background information right there. And you see both of these documents here together, confirming they were submitted. You also see a stamp on that one, as well as this red ink. This ink tends to get on everything when you actually submit something in Seoul. This right here is actually the receipt.
Nataz, I do too. He said it before. Legal Mindset continues to use Ramsey's real name because Ramsey hates his real name. He absolutely hates it. Even though he tried to go on a podcast and tried to say, I don't hate my real name. Bullshit, you do. You absolutely do. And it chaps your ass every time someone calls you by your legal name of Ramsey Ishmael. So nice try, Ramsey. It don't work. You hate it every time somebody says your name.
receipt. So this actually confirms this was received by the Seoul Mapo Police Department, which is the Western District, which is currently handling his case. So they have indeed received this. This confirms that the investigation has indeed started. They've accepted this. So many times in investigations in Korea, they will try to talk you out of a submission. They will try to get you to not submit something, to not submit a complaint. And in this case, we have information and we're led to believe by everything we have that it was fully accepted, and they fully concurred that they should go forward in investigating this. They did not throw this back. They did not try to talk anybody out of anything. They indeed said, yep, this looks like a great case for us to go forward on and a great investigation for us to pursue based on all of the information. Once again, they're receiving much more evidence than they have ever in the past. Now, what is he under investigation for? That's right, guys. It's the Child Welfare Act. Now,
there we go.
To be clear up before, Ramsey was initially investigated for this, and they did indeed decide not to bring this to trial initially. But at that point, they didn't have all the information. They didn't have all the evidence. And now they have all of the supporting evidence, and they're saying, nope, we're going to look at the Child Welfare Act again and consider this once again.
If they actually bring this about, he's fucked. He was already fucked. Let's not play around. He's already pled guilty to 3 crimes. If they actually bring this up, if they actually file charges in respect to this, he's fucking done. This is going to have, this is going to probably be a life sentence if they do. Well, maybe not a life sentence. It depends on the specific charge. This is probably going to be a multi-decade sentence for something involving a child, because the South Koreans, when it comes to the laws regarding children, they do not fuck around. And he's already got so much stacked against him. This is going to file under repeat offender, which means they are going to max out the sentencing for him. They're already maxing out sentencing on multiples. They're going to max this out on top of everything else already.
Ember, you would castrate Johnny Somali if he got up in your grill.
Possibly. Not quite sure what I would do. There's a couple of things I can imagine. Not going to say it, but there are a couple things that I can imagine. And Atanashi, yeah, you're probably right. If he gets convicted of this, whenever he manages to get out of prison in South Korea, if he ever returns to the U.S., he will have to register as a child sex offender. That's the key thing there. Not just a sex offender, a child sex offender. And that's if and when he ever does get out of jail. Because I imagine right now that the jail time or the prison time is probably up to about 40 years at this point. Like, if this keeps going, he may spend the rest of his, or the majority of his natural life, in a South Korean prison. At this point. Basically, we may finally get what we have been begging for, and that is removing him from the populace. Well, Moss, 36 max with the existing charges. Now we have a child charge. We have a charge in response to a child welfare act. And my guess is the sentencing on that is probably going to be 15 to 20 years. And diphtheria, he ain't going to come to Canada. He's not going to come to Canada. If he comes to Canada, we will not fuck around with that. Especially with him, acting like a fool in public like that. He will get the living fuck beaten out of him if he does that in Canada. Make no mistake about it. He will get his ass kicked.
To bring in the case of Ramsey Khalid Ismail. This involves no person shall engage in any acts having a child engage in lewd acts or arranging such acts or committing sexual harassment or sexual abuse against a child that make him or her feel sexually ashamed. And that carries with it a penalty of imprisonment with labor for not more than 10 years or by a fine not exceeding 50 million won. So you've
Oh, it's less than I thought, but it's still 10 years imprisonment with labor. Uh-huh. He'd be going to prison, and it'll be a labor prison, which means his ass is going to be breaking rocks in prison. Well, it's to as I understand it, Inquisitor, there is one charge that's being filed in regards to the Child Welfare Act. The way Legal Mindset was putting it, it's the way he was putting it, it sounded like there was going to be a singular charge under the Child Welfare Act. If there's more, that'll be 10 years per charge. But as of right now, it only sounded like it was going to be a singular charge under the Child Welfare Act.
You've got the option for a fine here. It's a quite hefty fine of 50 million won or up to 10 years in jail behind bars, or prison rather. So that is the potential penalty there. So we now can confirm without a doubt that Ramzi Khalid Ismail is facing a renewed investigation of the Child Welfare Act, not just potentially on one count, but for multiple counts, for multiple actions within the Republic of Korea that may constitute a violation of the Child Welfare Act. We could see one count, we could see 2 count, 3 counts. We don't know yet how many they want to pursue because there are several pieces of evidence which the police find very persuasive and may indeed go forward against him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about when he just got cold cocked out of nowhere. That is precisely what I was talking about. And by the way, that 50 million won thing, he can't pay that. Ramzi has no money. So if they charge him with the 5th, it's going to be prison or fine. Well, he can't pay the fine. So guess where he's going? He's going to prison. He's going to prison. Ha 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 ha.